Hey everyone, this is Will coming back with another, not gameplay commentary, just a commentary. This is going to be a voiceover of the game that you see before you. Just because I was actually initially trying to record me and my friend playing, which is why you kind of see two videos sync up. Eventually I just gave up and said, you know what, I'm just going to capture the game, get what I get, and I am going to just voice over it later. Just because it'll give me a chance to talk about topics outside of me just playing and trying to come up with stuff. So hopefully you like this other format that I will try to do as well. So when I'm not feeling like recording in a sense of talking about my gameplay, I can just record the game and then add the voiceover later. So this will be kind of a new test for me. And as you'll see in these next couple games, because I recorded them all in one session, me and my friend got super unlucky with some of the team players we had. I think this game went okay. It was the next couple games that we did not do so well in because we had that one person. But again, what can you do sometimes? So what am I going to talk about today? Well, I guess I'll start by talking about my day and how it was going okay, and then what happened as of like 15 minutes ago that really pissed me off. So we'll start by saying today was supposed to be another day off for me, but I had to go to a work meeting because last minute stuff my supervisor scheduled. Everyone this week is going to be pretty much working 6 days, which normally isn't that big of a deal. However, I had to drive like an hour and a half to the cities and then an hour and a half back. So about 3 to 3.5 hours of driving is what it worked out to be. I live down in Rochester, so I had to drive up just north of Minneapolis. So that was kind of lame. And it was only for a 4-hour meeting on top of that. So not a big deal. You know, it was fun to kind of meet some new people in a sense and just learn some more stuff about work. And the stuff that you learn in meetings can also be transferred to other stuff too. So kind of cool in that sense as well. So I was, once I was done, we only got a couple breaks and I am still starving. I have only had, I've only had like some water and a Go-Gurt. And not only was my Go-Gurt lava temperature, it was awful. It was the worst yogurt I've ever had in my life. And I am a person that loves yogurt. So note to self, eat Go-Gurt before going into meeting and not after 4 hours when it's been sitting in your car in a lunchbox. So honestly, now that I'm talking about my day, it honestly wasn't that good. But I mean, it was a day off. The other piece that was a frustration to me, I guess this is going to be more of a rant than a commentary about my day, but I went to go switch around my vehicles. I have 2 vehicles. I'll probably talk about that in another commentary, but I was switching both of them around because I wanted to take my newest car, more fuel efficient, smaller, etc. because I have a Mustang as my other car. So don't really want to drive that to the cities because that's not as fuel efficient. And it's louder. Again, talk about it another day. So the radio was working fine, and then when I get back in my car after turning it off, the radio wasn't working. And I'm like, well, shoot, maybe just something's not working. Maybe my phone's not connecting. I don't know. I literally was like playing around with it forever, and nothing was working. Eventually, I just chopped it up to the whole fact of maybe like after I let my car sit for a bit, it'll start working again, which seemed like a pretty good idea. Because I've actually had like the opposite problem where my radio would not turn off. I got to school. This is when I was doing student teaching. I got to school. The radio's still playing. Turned off my car. Still plays. It's a newer car. It's not until you open the door that it stops. Well, it didn't stop. And I could not figure out what was wrong. I'm like, shoot, I'm running 2 minutes late. I can't figure it out. So I just left my car to play its music. Thankfully, when I came out, after I was done with the day, the music was off and my car battery was still charged, thankfully, so I was able to drive home. Didn't have that problem for a while, actually. I have had it again, but I knew what to do this time at least. So this time I had the opposite problem where my radio would not turn on. It was on, but then it just stopped working. So I was like, whatever. After my meeting, I got into my car. It was still not working. I'm like, I cannot drive another hour and a half without listening to music or whatever I was listening to. So I didn't know what to do. I looked online, I looked on YouTube, and I just everyone was like, oh, you got to check the fuses, this and that. And there was one comment in particular on a forum. And that's what I always recommend to people. If you are having a problem with your car, type it in exactly, make, model, year into Google, and look on the car forums. There are so many people that have had this same problem. It may not be a fault that everyone just doesn't know what to do. It's just sometimes people have a common problem. Look it up. So someone suggested to unplug the battery. So I'm like, oh, shit. You know, I'm a person that likes cars, but I don't have my toolbox with me. I don't even think I had it in my Mustang for the longest time, you know, just to be ready to go. But it's left in my garage. So I was like, who do I call? Because I did see that someone in an ST had that problem. And my brother basically has the same car as me, just like a different make and trim level. He has a sports version, essentially. He has not had that problem. So he's like, why don't you just go to an auto parts store and they can help you out? Because they can usually do that stuff for free. Because I was like, man, I don't really want to go to Ford to have them charge me. He's like, just go to an auto parts store, they'll do it for free. So I was like, that's a good idea. There was one like 7 minutes away. So I drive to the auto parts store and he unplugs my battery. He's like, try turning it on to get rid of any last juice. Didn't turn on, which makes sense. Plugged it back in and now the whole screen wouldn't turn on. I'm like, oh no, I've just made it worse now. But, you know, at least I'm at an auto parts store where if it was a fuse or something, I can at least buy a new one. Not that I want to do that, but, you know, that's at least an option for me, thankfully. And sure enough, I'm holding the power button and it turns back on, music playing. I'm like, yes, I will be able to enjoy driving home. So that was at least like a win in that sense. Yeah. Now that I think about it, there was nothing really entertaining about that meeting. It was dragged on, boring. The videos wouldn't load because the mall Wi-Fi was doo-doo. And there was weird people there that I was not used to because I was all by myself an hour and a half away from my normal store. I didn't even have my supervisor that I'm familiar with doing the meeting. It was another supervisor of like the Minnesota stores. And if you're not sure where I work at K Jewelers for the most part. That's my daytime job. And that's another story that I might cover, kind of how I got into jewelry and working around that. It kind of has to do with the name of this channel, Watch Brothers, because I like watches. Again, another story for another day. So it was just, I am not the biggest fan of being in a room filled with people I don't know, but you know, it happens. And it's just something as you grow up, you just need to get better at. Going through college, you have a lot of practice doing that because every year you're in new rooms, new teachers, new people. Very rarely do you have the same people back to back until I was actually at Winona, which this may, again, some more background on me since I haven't really talked too much about me and what I do is I graduated with my bachelor's degree in elementary education. So the last 2 years I've been, for the most part, with the same group of people, which is fantastic. You do not realize what a community is like until you're back into that situation. Like, the last time I've been with the same group of people all day, every day, was like technically 6th grade, but 5th grade. So that's a lot of years to just not be with the same group of people. And it is something that I think high school, well, I mean, high school and middle school can't really do it because everyone starts to get more unique education and classes they pick is different. So it's kind of tough to do that. But I think more of a community group scenario for school would be good. But this is a tangent. Anyway, back to where I was at. So I'm driving home, and I was thinking about stopping somewhere to look at something just to have something to do, but I'm like, nah, I am tired. I want to head home. So I did. And of course, since we're still towards the end of summer, there's still construction everywhere, slowing everything down, but what can you do? So before this point, I knew that I had a bill left due for my insurance, and this is the main meat and potatoes that made me angry like 30 minutes ago. So I had $40 left on my account, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because as of today, I started a new insurance policy with a new company, and this will probably be what the last like 3 minutes will be kind of ranting about. So I called my current insurance provider, and I'm like, why do I have a bill of $40? I paid at the beginning of the month because I have my bills for the most part all come out on the first of the month. And I'm paying $200 at this point for just my car alone, which is a lot. I get it. It's there's a loan on it and I need to pay it, and I need full coverage, but $200 is quite a bit considering now for both I'm paying $100 a month. $100 of savings now per month. That is huge. That is $1,200. And again, this isn't a financial video. This is just me being angry. She's like, well, I'm sorry, but your policy is from the 24th of the month to the 24th of the month. So what you're paying for is the remaining balance of the 24th to the 1st. I'm like, do you mean of September to October? Or she's like, no, from August to September. I'm like, what? I already paid at the beginning of the month. How the heck do I still have a remaining balance when I paid $200 at the beginning of the month? She's like, sorry, blah, blah, blah. And up to this point, I have not had one good experience with insurance at that company at all. Not going to name any names because it doesn't matter, because I will leave a review on Google or wherever I need to because I'm upset. So that's kind of what's led me up to this point, and I needed to save money, and this was a way to do it. I went to my bank because they thankfully kind of hire someone that does insurance, but through outsourced companies. So he's one person that works with like 6 or 7 different companies. So he just gets you the best rate. He doesn't care. He doesn't have any affiliation to any of the big names. He's like, well, this person, I've gotten the best rate for this, but for this company, I've gotten a better rate for you. And it doesn't matter to me. So he's in a way better situation that a lot of insurance companies don't have. When you work through company X, Y, or Z, you're only trying to get the best rates through your own company, and you try to sell people why your company is better. The guy that I'm now working with is now my agent of sorts, is like, I work with 7 different companies, and I don't give a rat's doo-doo if they offer you a better rate over here or over here. I'm just trying to get you the best rate, which is kind of what it should be. I'm not trying to be sold on something I don't need. I'm getting sold on what the best rate for me is and what the best price is. And too often in this world, we're sold stuff that we don't want. And again, I have not had a good experience with my previous insurance, that now I can have a good experience through this new company just because I have that personal touch that I could not get before. Because I now have a face I can go talk to, and I did not have that with my previous company. The person that was my agent was up in the cities, and I've never seen him once. I've never talked to him once. I've tried leaving a message, and I had to talk to someone else. And that is just frustrating. It is very frustrating that some businesses are like that from time to time. It's sad, honestly. And hopefully I can try to find other things in my life where, A, I can save money, and 2, I can also get that personal touch. Because that's the thing with this day and age of internet and apps and whatever, is we don't get that personal touch anymore. And that's honestly sometimes what we still need. That's just kind of what's pissed me off. Unfortunately, my day is still not over. I have another meeting I have to go to at 7, but that's only for an hour. So hopefully I can get some recording in. Hopefully by then it'll be uploaded by 7, but I think it should be. But then I also will try to record some more games, maybe do another one of these commentary ones so I can upload it in the morning, because I don't have my schedule on me, but I think I work at 1 the rest of the week. And I don't know why, but I enjoy working 1 to 9 a whole lot more than going in at 10 till 6. I don't know what it is, but either way, I'm sleeping in because I am a person that at the very latest wakes up at 8. So that was why it was very rough for me, and I'm probably very cranky because I had to wake up at 6. I had to leave my house by 8 to make sure I got to my meeting in time for K Jewelers. So that's no good. I don't like that. I haven't had to wake up to an alarm very often, honestly. And it's very freeing, not having to wake up to an alarm. I mean, working at the mall has its benefits, but it has its drawbacks. The benefit is definitely not having to wake up to an alarm. Drawbacks is not a whole lot, honestly. I mean, sometimes I'm like, why are we here till 9? But anyway, if you guys want to know more about my mall job, feel free to ask in the comments or leave a comment. If you enjoyed this different style of game, or, well, rather video, of me talking after the fact and not talking about the game directly, leave that in the comments as well. If you liked it, leave a like. I don't really have much more to talk about. I'm going to leave you with the last, looks like about minute of the gameplay. So anyway, thanks so much, guys.
storming the bridge.
An enemy